It looks like we're now getting drip marketing, and this drip marketing, in all honesty, is very exciting, especially because now we're looking into a section 6 patch, which, as you may know, we've been kind of playing around with faction based patches, with version 1.1 being more of a pubsec faction, 1.2 being Sons of Kaladin, and now we have 1.3. I'm getting confused already, and we barely have started the game. But now we're looking at a section 6 patch. Most likely we're gonna be getting the other character later tonight, which I am very excited for. But looking at our first character of version 1.3, it's going to be Yanagi, and she is going to be an electric anomaly character. Now, funny enough, I'm not gonna lie to you, when looking at this character, this already screams something that I'm kind of like, rest in peace, and that is to Grace, most likely, because this is going to be a direct replacement, most likely, when it comes to having the same role, same element, all that different type of stuff. So looking at how Grace is electric anomaly and how we have Yanagi as well that is electric anomaly, it's a pretty big thing when it comes to the power creep immediately on top of the standard 5 stars right now in the game. And also to look at what characters we should expect. Hey, the next 2 characters, it's either going to be Harumasa, which is the guy with the bow, or it's going to be Miyabi. So there's going to be a lot of crazy stuff that we might end up seeing very soon. But looking at her role and looking at the element itself, I do want to talk about realistically how much is going to impact the meta when it comes to Yanagi. And oh my god, is her design absolutely amazing. I think it's by far one of my favorites in the game for sure. But let's go ahead and go into Zenless. What does Yanagi coming into the game do? Now, 100% is most likely going to be a Grace power creep, 1000%. But to talk about some of the things that we are going to be getting very soon in version 1.2, we are going to be looking at a brand new disc set, which is going to allow us to be able to gear up these characters that are anomaly based plus having electric damage. So this is going to be a very big thing for someone like Yanagi when we're getting a new disc set that is most likely going to buff out that team. And we're also going to be looking at the section 6 faction being built up, and we have no idea if we're going to be getting a 4-star that section 6. We have no idea if it's going to be Miyabi, if it's going to be Harumasa. Are these guys going to work together? There's a lot of stuff that we're going to have to worry about till later tonight, where we figure out what exactly they're playing around with. Now, the thing we have been seeing in patterns is that when these characters come out, let's say version 1.1, this was a character for someone like Juyin who came out right before Qingyi, and Qingyi and Juyin are definitely the pair to have, just because you have the stun damage multiplier, you have the really quick stun, something that Juyin really wants because she gets her own stuff from it as well when the enemies are stunned. So this is a pretty big deal when it comes to the synergies together. Not only that, we have a character like Jane, and guess what characters are going to be well with Jane that are coming out very soon? That's going to be someone like Caesar and someone like Bernice, which is probably going to be one of the strongest teams in the game by far that I cannot wait to try out. Looking at these characters, we've noticed that there's a pattern where these characters kind of basically come out right behind each other with their best in slot characters. Now, do I necessarily like that method of bringing out characters? Not necessarily. It's kind of weird to have to immediately grab Juyin and then go right for her best partner, which is Qingyi. And same thing goes for Jane. If you're pulling for Jane, you're most likely pulling for Bernice, because that's going to be the best of the best when it comes to the anomaly team. And it kind of sucks that all 3 of the characters, when it comes to Jane, when it comes to Bernice, and when it comes to Caesar, are right next to each other. It doesn't give you a lot of time to be able to build up your currency. That way you're actually able to grab these units if by chance you get lucky enough to grab them. So it is going to be a little bit hard, and most likely with what we're going to see with an electric anomaly character, Yanagi is either going to be followed by a character that is going to be her best in slot, or we're going to be seeing a character that is going to basically be in the situation where 1.0 was, where we had a DPS with a DPS. So it basically filled up 2 entire different slots, which is going to help out build our account better. But realistically, I cannot wait to see what the second character is going to be besides Yanagi, and realistically also looking at what character she might work with. Of course, as we've seen for a majority of these characters, even if they don't have the electric, I guess you could say, similarity between characters, someone like Jane can definitely have that anomaly character team buff, I guess you could say, where you're able to work with other anomaly characters. So definitely someone like Jane could work with someone like Yanagi depending on how fast her anomaly buildup is, but as an anomaly character, it's pretty much going to be instant for the most part. And if she has electric anomaly buildup rate, that's going to be a very strong character and potentially another good character for the anomaly team, which is a pretty big buff and a really big one at that, just because having an anomaly character on the team immediately procs Jane's passive, which is by far one of the stronger ones in the game for sure. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to see them work with. It's going to be really cool. So besides Jane, of course, and the anomaly characters that we have in the game, who else is Yanagi currently going to be good with? Of course, keeping in mind that they are most likely going to be releasing another partner or the next character to be one of Yanagi's best in slot partners. So we're going to have to wait and see how that's going to work out. We also know that the disc drive set that is coming out with the electric bonus with the anomaly proficiency stuff in the 4P set is also going to be a big factor as well. But regardless, another team that is going to work out with Yanagi that we know so far is going to be the very underused electric team, which consists something at the current moment of having something like Rena, having somebody like Grace, and also having someone like Anton. Right now, not really a used team when it comes to mono electric teams. They were used at the very beginning of the game, especially for those that ended up pulling Grace. They ended up pulling something like Anton, Grace together, and then whatever other electric unit there was at the time, something like Ambi, something like Rena. That way they're able to work around with the electric bonuses, and especially the ones that something like Grace is able to do. If I'm not wrong, she's able to prolong or give more damage to shock. And then we have someone like Rena who's able to increase the amount of time that enemies are shocked. So there can be potential synergy and a upcomings in a bunch of different teams when it comes to the shock team or the mono electric team, when it comes to having Jane on the squad and having a full-on anomaly team, which we're going to see is going to be pretty strong, especially when looking at how strong anomaly already is in the game. Yanagi is probably going to be up there when it comes to how strong they are. Now, is she going to be immediately top tier? I'm not going to say that right now, just because, as we may know, Caesar and Bernice have a lot in their kit, and there's definitely one of the better units in the game, probably top 1, top 2 between those two. Especially can't wait to see what Bernice is able to do, just because realistically having an off-field damage character, that's as good as it gets, and then having an impenetrable shield, that's almost as good as it gets as well. So there's a lot of stuff coming in version 1.2 that you don't want to miss out on. Yanagi is very interesting, especially with her coming out right now, and we only have to know, or we're just waiting right now, who is the second unit for section 6, or will it be a double section 6, which most likely it will, because they have been doing faction based patches. Are we going to see Harumasa, the guy with the bow? Is he going to be a 4-star? Are we going to see Miyabi finally, after being gone since CBT1, that everybody and their mom wants in their account? We have no idea. We're just gonna have to wait till later today to see if they drop the 4-star, if they drop the 5-star, and if it's Miyabi, well, Ellen, rest in peace, your time has come too with Grace. If it's not Miyabi, then we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer, and if it's Harumasa, then I guess that guy is going to come into the game, and we'll see what he's able to do versus a lot of the greats that we have right now, with including Jane, with including Yanagi, with including Bernice, and even Caesar as well. So other than that, that's going to be it for the rest of this video when it comes to talking about Yanagi and what she's going to do in the meta, what she's going to do in terms of teams that are coming out, and how she's going to impact future releases. I can't wait to see what we're going to be looking at when it comes to the next section 6 character. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll end the video. See y'all guys in the next one, and peace.